Good morning.
Good morning.
I see that the bulletin has called this Bill Goodwin's spiritual journey. But as I prepared it, I called it Heroes. I hope that will make sense by the time I'm finished. When Ruth asked me in June if I would be willing to talk about my spiritual journey during worship service, I told her I wasn't very far along it, and so maybe I wasn't the best person she could ask. But had this, it worked. I also thought, but didn't say, that I was just making friends in my new church and didn't really want to subject people to what I was sure would be an intensely boring presentation. I mean, so many of you are more advanced than I am on this journey. Why should you want to hear some disjointed, bumbling account of what I believe? But I said yes anyway, so if I'm wide of the mark, you know who to blame. The first phase of my journey was pretty typical. Like a lot of kids, my parents had me go to Sunday school in a Dutch Reformed church they attended in Englewood, New Jersey. The church was literally next door, so the usual excuses wouldn't work. I was even presented with my own Bible, and I still remember its onion skin pages and full-color illustrations. Then there was this long, unchurched period until we moved to Tenafly, New Jersey. Big move, one town north. And we began attending a Presbyterian church. I was confirmed there when I was 13 and remember thinking, this is like a Protestant bar mitzvah. I had had a lot of friends, Jewish friends in Englewood, and my father worked for a predominantly Jewish company, so I was familiar with the tradition. Then there was this really long blank space of something like 30 years of unconcerned secularity. I mean, I believed in God and all that, but my participation in worship was Christmas Eve and maybe Easter services. I was curious enough about expressions of spirituality to take a course in religious studies in college. And I learned enough about Jewish and Catholic traditions to be able to see the links with my own Protestantism. During this period, there were a couple of bumps in the road. I was estranged from my parents for a number of years when I couldn't stand to watch them psychologically savage each other anymore, and told them so. They finally separated after decades of strife, but managed to reconcile for their last few years together. And I had a catastrophic early marriage. We were 19 when we married, and it was marred by alcoholism and infidelity as we grew further and further apart. Fortunately, no kids. Having seen how toxic marriage could be, I studiously avoided committed relationships for years. Then Susie came into my life and changed that relationship for good. I had been going through a period of serial monogamy, and that just wasn't working anymore. Met her, and by the grace of God, I was truly blessed. Loved by a smart, talented, positive, high-energy woman, accepted into a boisterous, loving family, and given 2 kids. And now, a grandson. When I was 46 and the boys 6 and 9, Susie and I moved into a house literally 2 doors away from another Presbyterian church. Again, no excuses. We heard the church bells ringing, we saw the people parking in front of our house and walking to church, and I thought, maybe there's a reason I've been plunked down here. Maybe it's time for me to start giving back for all these blessings. Let's go to church, I said to Susie. That experience started a whirlwind of involvement, first as a member of the personnel committee, then as its chair, then leading an update of the church's strategic plan for the future, and finally being ordained as a Presbyterian elder. Yes, they ordain elders in the Presbyterian church. One of the most rewarding experiences was working with the senior pastor in instituting a goals-based performance appraisal procedure for the staff. This was a big steeple church with 1,500 members. They had a staff of 6, so performance appraisal was appropriate. And I was the one to give the senior pastor his performance appraisal. That was a unique experience even for someone who had a career in human resources. I mean, how do you tell a man of God that he's screwing up? Then I retired. We bought a sailboat and cruised the U.S. East Coast and Caribbean for 6 months every year. Our travels took us to many churches, Catholic, Episcopal, even Methodist. Especially moving were the services at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, where we spent 2 summers. To hear those kids sing the Navy hymn at every service never failed to bring tears to my eyes. In our other travels, we attended services in English, Spanish, and French. The commonalities in their liturgies was comforting. God was always present, even if the ways people worshiped him varied. I had a Jewish fraternity brother at Brown who took me to shul a number of times, and I dated some Catholic girls whom I accompanied to Mass on occasion. Regardless of the religion or denomination, I felt the same warmth of sharing with the congregation yet another way to honor God and feel his caring presence. For the 6 months we weren't sailing, we joined a congregational church in New Hampshire. And I got drawn into its life just as I had in the Presbyterian church. I was still motivated by the desire to give back in gratitude for how richly I had been blessed. But this time it was different. While at the Presbyterian church, my contributions were much in line with my professional life. I was good at organizational strategy and human resources management, and I just applied my skills to the church environment. At the Congregational church, I realized I had been given broader gifts to share, specifically in financial management. This was a revelation. I had spent a career on the soft side of business, human resources. Now the hard numbers started singing to me, and I went with it. The church was leaving money on the table, in some cases literally throwing it out the single-pane windows, and I couldn't stand it. I restructured the modest amount they had in the bank into a series of purpose-driven investments, got the unoccupied and deteriorating parsonage sold, and ran a capital campaign. I fear this may seem like I'm bragging, but I believe that church is now on a much sounder financial footing. It has been able to address long overdue maintenance, make improvements in health, safety, and security, and even enrich the worship experience. On reflection, I realized my motivation went beyond just extending my professional skills. I saw a struggling church and a small group of congregants for whom it represented both spiritual and social enrichment. I wanted to help it survive and thrive for them, and the good Lord had given me the tools to do it. How could I not? But these were just activities, right? Enjoyable and rewarding for sure, but what about my personal progress on the spiritual side? For that, I have to go back, first, to one of the most influential books I have ever read, and second, to the experiences I had in the natural world. In 1957, Joseph Campbell wrote a book entitled The Hero with a Thousand Faces. I won't be able to do it justice, but Campbell's central premise is the commonalities among all religious traditions, the prophetic and the mystical, across cultures and through the millennia. There seems to be a human need for spiritual exploration and expression, and it draws people together in families and communities to share in traditions and rituals, worshiping a deity or deities as they struggle to make sense of what they see and experience in their lives and in the wider world. Heroes emerge as guides in this struggle, often undergoing horrific suffering to confront and defeat the wrongs of the world and convey a message to their followers. We Christians have such a hero. His name is Jesus, and his passion to tell us what God is, how he cares about us, and what he wants us to do, especially with each other, led to his crucifixion for our salvation. And as Campbell points out, Jesus is not the only hero. There have been others over the course of human history who have similarly suffered for our benefit and in their effort to convey God's expectations and purposes for us. There yet may be more heroes, because we haven't gotten the message yet. Just listen to or read the news. God has sent us many messengers, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha among them. And I bet he's getting pretty exasperated. How many heroes do I have to sacrifice for you people, he must be thinking, before you understand that you must love each other, stop all the killing and brutality, the dishonesty and stealing, the intolerance and lack of respect, that your purpose is here to care for all humankind. I have revealed myself in Jesus. Let him show you the way. There are other ways God talks to us. I defy anyone to watch a full moon rise out of the sea and turn it into a shimmering silver and not be struck by the wonder of creation. Or see, as I did for the first time in my life just last month, a rainbow arcing all the way across the sky and touching both horizons and not feel awe. Or sail with a pod of dolphins swimming alongside your boat, jumping out of the water as they play in the bow wave, and then deliberately rolling on their side to get a better look at you and not marvel at their grace, power, and intelligence. You must take care of this, I think God is saying, just as you would a gift given by a friend who loves you. I love you. I'm your friend. Cherish my gift, and you will honor me. Please pray with me. Lord, give us the grace to recognize the heroes among us, those who commit themselves to the service of others. Few of us have the selflessness of Jesus, but bless us in our efforts, however small, to emulate his sacrifice. Make us aware of the magnificence of your ongoing creation, and with each new discovery at the level of the cosmos, the natural wonders of our earth, or the subatomic particle, that you are revealing yet another part of yourself. And finally, Lord, forgive us as we fall short. Help us know that with your grace, every one of us can be one of your heroes. Amen.